Hey now, what do you know, folks? Wortox is still boasting his soul hoppiness, and it's a good week after his release. And to celebrate such a feat, let's continue to put his abilities to test to see just how non-supportive a supportive character can actually be. So today, we pit him against the Shadow Pieces, one of the more involved and difficult fights around. So let's get to it. I thought I'd be clever and potentially cheat the system, but not quite this time. For those who don't know or remember, we need 3 of these suspicious marble pieces to be transported to their proper marble structures in order to begin the fight. And I wanted to see if Wortox could soul hop his way with the weight on his back, but sadly that is not the case. And I even tried to break and time the animations to see if I could even glitch it to work. A part of me is a little disappointed that the mechanic doesn't extend this, but yet another part of me is glad. Because could you imagine if it did, Wortox would be even more broken than he already is. But it's the little things that get me, folks, and I love this. Wortox refers to the marble sculptures by name, and for the knight one he says, "That's a knight alright." Mind the rook, and Wortox may even give it a look. And finally, Wortox feels it's time to fix up this here bishop. What's so special about this? Well, Wortox is the only character in the entire game to call these things by name, further cementing his connection to the constant and its many enemies that none of the other survivors share. If you don't believe me, just head on over to the wiki and read all the character examinations of these sculptures yourself. But enough of that. It's time to get down to fighting, and for our first attempt, I actually eliminated all speed advantages just to see if soul hopping alone was viable enough, and what I found wasn't really surprising. You can absolutely avoid damage altogether, as long as you time the enemy teleportations correctly, but you will blow through souls quickly, and very likely have none to use come to even the middle of the second phase. Plus, having to run down your targets after each hop can be annoying unless you aim your teleport properly each time. So in conclusion, speed is still your friend. So please, go get some. Cause with speed, the fight is as simple as ever. My advice? Fight them as one normally would by just running from the teleport attacks and try to actually avoid using soul hopping until the middle of phase 2, or heck, even just saving all 20 of the suckers for whichever phase 3 shadow piece you decide to vanquish. And that's really why I'm here, to see Wortox against the level 3 shadows of all shadows. And first up, the level 3 bishop. Already considered to be the easiest out of all the level 3s, Wortox's soul hop simply makes it more so. If you time things correctly, that is. Don't, and you will be punished and stun-locked. If you do it wrong but a couple times, you will very likely have yourself a bad news beard situation on your hands. The timing is easy, so let me show and tell you the right way. What you want to do is fight as you would normally, and when it comes time to soul hop, do so not as the bishop begins to disappear, but rather a second later as the bishop begins to reappear. It might seem ballsy, but remember that you get an invincibility frame as you soul hop, so if you bait the bishop to attack in one space as you teleport to another, you are easily going to avoid all damage and any stun lock potential. But next up, the level 3 Rook. And we all know how much he just loves to spawn right on top of us to give us a chomping. And nothing has changed there. Apart from the fact that we ourselves can play that same game. Once he's reappearing, we can tell you where we stand to give him a taste of his own medicine. But there is a problem. His size can actually impact your mouse cursor and thus prevent your right click, meaning no life-saving soul hop for you. The solution? Always be aware of said size and keep your mouse further away from where you and he stand. The Rook tellies to you, so there is no need to risk teleporting to match him. And as far as the timing goes, once again, I implore you to have balls of steel and wait to see him reappearing before you hop away yourself. Doing so saves your behind from being bitten over and over again, and still offers great DPS potential overall. But I must mention the downside. You will use nearly every soul during the Rook encounter if you use this strategy with a Hambat. I was left with 1 soul following a perfect fight, so keep that in mind when choosing what weapon to use. Next up, the dreaded level 3 knight. Let me tell you folks, the timing for this one is darn near impossible. Is it possible? Yes, as I show here, but it's incredibly inefficient and overly difficult considering how he always just runs away like the coward he is regardless. So my advice, don't bloody fight the level 3 knight. But there you have it, everyone. A little guide on using Wortox to his maximum potential when it comes to facing down the shadows of all shadows. And what I found was that he is certainly viable and mechanically sound for about 2/3 of the hard boys. But I will mention that he works very well in the other phases too. But just choose your battles and use your souls wisely. Thanks for watching. Good luck out there, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.